Hi, this is Rhett, co-founder of Doom Solutions. Today, we'll be taking a closer look at Marvin's submissions tool, which makes cutting in a large batch of shots much easier and faster than doing it by hand. First, let's jump over to Media Composer and take a look at our sequence. We're working on a 5-minute music video, which already has numbered markers and subcaps applied. As you can see, there are 191 different VFX shot IDs. For this demo, let's start with a small vendor submission of only 2 versions, which we can easily cut in by hand. First, we need to find the shot in the sequence and mark our in to out points. Our VFX shots have 5-frame handles, so I'll jump to the 6th frame to account for a slate, mark my in, and cut it into the timeline. I'll take a quick look and make sure it's correctly lined up. Now I'll do the same thing for the other shot. Find it, mark it, jump to the right frame, cut it in, and check it. For only 2 shots, it's pretty quick and painless to cut them in manually. But what if the next submission has, 198 more versions? Cutting all of those in by hand could easily take an hour or more. Fortunately, Marvin is here to help. I'll use a utility bin to combine all of the shots across multiple submissions and vendors by alt-dragging all 200 into one bin. Adjust the bin columns to display name, start, end, and source file. You can add anything else, but you minimally need those columns for the submissions tool to work. Once you've got everything set up, it's worth saving a bin view for the future. Now I'll export my bin. For simplicity, I'll name it Clips. If necessary, switch the export settings to tab delimited. The next step is to export the subcaps of your shot IDs from the sequence. If you also use subcaps for other titles, you may need to first subsequence the shot ID track before exporting them. Again, for simplicity, I'll just name it SubCaps and make sure the export is set to Avid DS caption file. Now we can switch over to Marvin. We first want to check our settings. From the home page, click the gear icon and take a look at the user preferences. This demo project is 25 frames per second and the handles are only 5 frames, so I'll update those and click Save. Then I'll jump over to naming conventions. The shots are numbered using 4 digits, so I need to update the sample and reset the breakdown. Then I'll select the full shot ID in the file's name and click Set, followed by Save. It's important to note that this shot ID must match the format in your subcaps, which may be different than your markers or the full ID itself. The version padding looks good, so we're all set and can return to the home page. I'll click Submissions and then choose the clips and subcaps files that I exported from Avid. You'll see that the frame offset is 6. This is because the handles are 5 frames, so Marvin adds 1 to account for a slate. You can change it to any number though if it's not correct. Click Merge and Marvin will work its magic. We can see that all 200 versions were imported and correctly linked to their corresponding shots. If a shot doesn't automatically link, possibly due to a misnamed file or one that didn't include a matching shot ID, you can manually select it from the drop-down of all imported subcaps. We can also see where multiple versions were included under the same shot ID. The different versions are connected to make it easy to identify. Unusually short is one of the warnings that you may run across, such as this one that Marvin is reporting as being 43 frames short. Hovering over the exclamation point shows us that the total frame count is only 3 frames. Reviewing the file name, we can see that it's a concept whip, so it's probably nothing to worry about, and we received a full-length version 2, but we'll need to remember to check it out later. Another common warning is unbalanced, which means that the source's tail length doesn't equal the expected handle length. A positive number means that there are extra frames beyond the handles, and a negative number indicates fewer frames. This can be due to editorial changes that happened after the turnover, or it could signify the need to reapply a speed effect. Regardless, this shot requires some additional attention. Finally, there's the short warning, which tells us that the shot is short by a certain number of frames when using the specified offset. Marvin will cut it in, but like with the other warnings, you'll need to double check it for accuracy. If you know that a certain vendor delivers with different handles, you can manually change each one individually. Or if you chose the wrong offset, you can use the Actions menu to update them all after they've been imported. But we're all set, so I'll cancel out. If you want to save the submissions data, including Marvin's notes, you can export an Excel file to reference later while reviewing. But to cut all of those versions into Avid, we need to export the EDLs. We can see that multiple versions of the same shot will export as separate EDLs. That's because multiple clips can't occupy the same timecode in the same timeline track, so Marvin calculates where they would need to go and puts them in different files. If I look at the desktop, I can see the two EDLs that Marvin exported. Back in Avid, we'll go to our VFX to cut in bin and import each EDL. The frame rate should be good, but we'll have to update the project type. Under the audio mapping option, you can choose to not map it, but I've also found that leaving it as 2 tracks has no effect if you want to save a few clicks. Select the bin for the EDL and click OK at the prompt. Now we can see our first EDL and that everything appears offline. I'll import the V2 EDL and do the same as the first one to map the remaining shots. Now we need to select all of our clips and the imported EDL sequences, right-click, and choose Relink. The relink settings are very important. Uncheck to load the media databases, check to relink the selected master clips, and uncheck the current project. The start timecode is good, but we need to match the source file's name, not the ID. Ignore the extension, add a period in the box, and uncheck to match the case. We don't need any audio or data, and you should uncheck to relink across rates. It's up to you whether you want to create new sequences, but it's not necessary. Click OK and the clips should come up very quickly. If nothing relinks or it's taking a long time, you likely chose the wrong relink settings, so go back and try again. Now I can bring up our current cut and load the V1 EDL into the source monitor. Check the start timecode for the sequence because that's where we need to go in our timeline. I'll select my track, make sure there's nothing else there, mark an in, and overwrite. And then I'll do the same for the V2 shots, remembering to double check the start timecode of the sequence and to confirm that the track is clear. Done! We've effortlessly cut in 200 shots in a matter of minutes. It should go without saying, but Marvin is not a replacement for manual checking. You still need to make sure that all of the shots cut in correctly, but you can see how much time it saved by not having to cut them all in one by one, giving you more time to actually review the new shots. For instance, here's that 3-frame concept version from earlier. Marvin was able to cut it in, so you can see it in context and decide how to proceed. The submissions tool is just one of many ways Marvin can streamline your visual effects and editorial workflows. Download a free trial of Marvin today at doomsolutions.com.